Welcome, everybody. It's Francesco Tisiot here. I'm really happy to share the afternoon if you're in Europe, the night if you are in APAC, or the morning if you are in the US, with you and another guest of this episode, which is John Kennedy.
Francesco, thank you very much. It's great to be here. Francesco and I have shared the stage in some other webinars. So yeah, it's really good to be here. Got some good topics to talk about. Don't know where everyone else is. It'd be good to hear that in the chat. If you want to drop in what part of the world you're from, we can sort out the morning, afternoon, and everything else. I'm here in the UK. We are deep into the UK summertime. It's absolutely lashing with rain. How about you, Francesco? What's it like where you are?
Well, I'm in Verona. That's a funny story there. It was a rainy day today in Verona itself. It was a rainy day almost in all Italy. Tomorrow there is a huge conference starting in Florence, and a lot of UK people came to Italy to speak at that conference. So the running joke is that all the UK people traveled with clouds in the bags in order to bring the rain to here. And we see people coming and joining from Sofia, from Fremont, and Seattle. Whoa, quite a diversity of spaces here. Sun in Bulgaria. Okay, that's cool. So it's already 1 minute past 5. So if you agree, John, we should start. And first of all, I believe it's good to introduce us to the audience. John, do you want to start?
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, so my name is John Kennedy. I work here at Aiven as the head of databases, so covering all the services that run on the platform that relate to data storage and analytics. We've got a lot of great technologies in the mix, and today, later on, I'll be talking to you about a relatively recent addition to the portfolio. I'm really happy about that. My background has been data historically over the ages, quite a few ages. Big data before it was big data, then big data, and now I'm here at Aiven, so really looking forward to talking about the topic. I'll keep my discussion slightly briefer to make sure that we've got lots of time for Francesco. And Francesco, what about you? Give us an intro.
Well, as you said, first data, then big data, then huge data with Aiven. I've done pretty similar path. I'm coming from data background with years and years of consultancy, and then I joined Aiven. I had a different set of roles in my 3.5 years at Aiven. Now I'm a senior PMM dedicated to all the AI services. And I believe between us two, it will be interesting discussion to discover something new that is coming into Aiven, that has been arriving into Aiven recently, and also some of the new ways of using all tools. Because yes, we know that most of the time, all technology might be boring until you find the new niche of using it for a different use case. And we will explore a lot of it later on. The episode itself is called Build to Scale with Aiven. What this means is basically with Aiven, you can experiment, but at the same time, build everything to a huge scale. So what we provide is a ready-to-go, stable, extensible, fully integrated platform that allows you to start also for free. We have a always free offering for Postgres and MySQL that you can start using, start adopting for any kind of purpose you want. But the cool thing is that the same MySQL, the same Postgres, plus all the additional data solutions that we provide can take you through a huge scale by just clicking on the upgrade, by just making your databases or data solution a little bit bigger, depending on your needs. You can scale up, and at the same time, if you don't need a bigger scale anymore, you can scale down. It's always your choice. What are we going to talk in particular, however, are two big news that are coming in Aiven. John, do you want to
say
let's
cut into it? Yeah, let's go. So today the two topics are Aiven for Dragonfly, which has been, as Francesco highlighted, is quite staggering the scale that people can build out on Aiven. Some of our customers have hundreds and thousands of data stores, caching solutions, streaming solutions, all natively integrated. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is specifically Dragonfly. Dragonfly for us is the scale solution and alternative to the highest throughput workloads on Redis. So you'll hear me talk a little bit about that. And if we skip to the next slide, I'll just get started straight away, and we can get through. So yeah, Ivan for Dragonfly. Why did we do it? The main and most pressing reason was scale. Our biggest customers get to the limits of the open source version of Redis quite quickly. It is by design open core, and so what you can do with the open source version is quite limited. It just doesn't have the capacity and the throughput to deal with our biggest customers' enterprise workloads. So we heard them loud and clear. We've entered into a great partnership with the Dragonfly team to offer Ivan for Dragonfly. And it meets the needs that we just couldn't reach before. And we're hearing some really positive, great feedback from our customers. Specifically, it's the highest, most performant throughput, the really heavy production workloads, the things that are running night and day that are the backbone of your infrastructure, whether it's caching layers inside your stack or at the top of your stack, or supporting your customer-facing application when you have really high demand, and it's working really well. And the great value as well is that it's a simpler solution on Ivan than it is either hosting it yourself or trying to manage a self-hosted Redis Enterprise Labs offering. And so, as well as the really high throughput of the technology, you get the easy lift that Ivan provides for you. So you can integrate it with a number of other services natively. You can run 5, 10, 15 of these, and the actual overhead for you is minimal. And so that allows you to scale to much bigger footprints of data and data caching specifically. And yeah, the last point, that engineer's having a bad day, but so do many people who are working with Redis. Ivan for Redis comes in 2 flavors: the open core flavor and the enterprise, the enterprise version, which comes with a lot of these high availability features that are difficult and tricky to manage yourselves. And that's where the Ivan platform with Dragonfly mitigates that need for you and makes sure that you can get going really quickly and then scale to the production workloads you need to support. And also worth, probably not one to discuss particular here, but the license change with Redis has been problematic for the industry as well. And we were really pleased to already have an enterprise ready solution before there was a license change. So you can come to Ivan and get the most performant Redis alternative on the market for enterprise scale, and you don't have to worry about any of the upcoming license changes. Secondary to that, we're coming up with a solution with the community for addressing the open source aspect, and you'll have to come to a future session to hear more about that. Expect something in the next few weeks.
Well, that's amazing. I believe the license change also implied some name changes that we will probably see in the future.
Yes.
I would talk about it yet.
Yeah, I can talk about it here. Yeah, so we have a blog out. Yes. As well as a license change for usage, there was a change of the trademark and policy around Redis. And so the current Ivan for Redis offering will be changing its name to Ivan for Caching in the near term. And that's to comply, and we want to make sure that we're complying with the legal requirements put upon us. So really pleased, that's rolling out now and should be finished by the end of the month. Yeah, and in the future, Ivan for Valkey is fast approaching. So yeah, come and hear more about that in a future session.
I believe the good line for developers here is, despite a lot of change, for their point of view, more or less nothing changes because it's all API compatible.
Yeah, 100%. And that's one of the key values for Ivan as well. You learn our API and everything else under the hood is the same for you. So yeah, we're really pleased about the opportunity we have both to have a seamless transition from open source Redis to Valkey, but also the opportunity to develop Valkey further into something bigger and better than the open source Redis ever could have been is really, really exciting for us. So yeah, looking forward to it.
Perfect.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit in more detail about why Dragonfly. We've given a very high level overview, but it is a drop-in replacement. So everything you can do with Redis Enterprise Labs, you can do with Dragonfly. So yeah, we're really pleased with that. It's enabled a lot of really easy migrations. I know kind of caching services are relatively easy to migrate anyway, because it's kind of flip it over and watch the pools drain down and up, but this makes it even simpler. So we've really had a lot of good feedback around that experience so far. The vertical scaling with Dragonfly on single nodes is unparalleled out there in the market, and we're really seeing customers getting a really high value out of a smaller footprint of VM. So really, really happy with that. And because of the way it's designed and architected, you don't need to do sharding. And that allows us to move plans and scale up and down really quickly. So in those scenarios where you've got a Black Friday-like event coming, you can scale it up really easily and quickly. And then when it's finished, you can scale it down to make sure that you can handle the demands. The community is growing really rapidly. We're getting great feedback from our engineers interacting with the Dragonfly engineers and the Dragonfly community. So we're really pleased with that aspect of it. And we've had a really good relationship in terms of picking up feature requests, getting them delivered. And it's available in all 3 major clouds. So yeah, getting well ahead of the offerings that are out there. And if you're interested in bring your own cloud, which allows you to burn down credits you as your enterprise or company may already have with any of these vendors, we've got great options there as well, which makes it even more price competitive.
That's perfect. I believe that's the scale bit of this webinar. As we said, caching is usually the cherry on top, but if you can make this cherry on top big as big as your cake, it definitely adds a lot of value for our customers.
Yeah, and I think it's also an often overlooked part of your infrastructure design, or can be thought of as an afterthought. Because if you plan at various stages in your architecture to have a caching layer in front of your database, you're going to save costs as that database scales. You won't need to necessarily scale the database. You can scale the caching layer and manage that a lot more dynamically than the database. And that allows you an awful lot of freedom and flexibility to adapt to workload changes and customer demands.
That's perfect. I have probably a question for the audience if they are already using some sort of caching, if they are hitting any limits on the caching layer that they have, and if they think that a solution like Dragonfly could be a good one for them.
Yeah, and do they intentfully design it in, or was it something they arrived at to fix a problem later on? That'd be great to hear as well.
Yep.
And finally, one of the other reasons you're here today is to talk about AI, which we'll go into a lot more detail in the next section with Francesco. But vector similarity search is inherently already there within Dragonfly. So we're really pleased to have another product in the portfolio that allows you to carry out some of these vector searches on embeddings, or faceted searches that allow you to get more complex insights into data you already have in technologies you're already familiar with. And yeah, we're really pleased to offer this. It's working really well. The people are already using it, are super pleased with it. And I think that's one of the key hidden superpowers of our platform right now, is that whatever technology you're used to using to store your data in, whether it's Dragonfly, Postgres, OpenSearch, ClickHouse, you've got vector capabilities there. You can start experimenting with Gen AI and AI use cases using this capability in technologies you already know, you already love. You don't need to retrain. So really proud to have another technology with this capability in the portfolio. And yeah, really looking forward to hearing more from Francesco about the wider and more expanding aspects of this in our products.
Yeah, I believe that it's an interesting point. This allows you also to scale better, but not in the traditional sense of scaling the throughput. Yes, we can help you with that. That's one driver. But I believe also, to me, scaling is doing more with the resources that you have.
Yeah.
And if we enable you to do something more like vector search with the team that you have, with the knowledge that you have, this also allows you to scale.
Yeah, you're essentially scaling the use cases you can serve from the technology you already have, which is a game changer, because you don't need to go. The time to market will reduce. You'll be able to get better return on your investment in the technology you're already spending money on. So yeah, it's a win-win, that kind of scaling.
Absolutely. Okay, then before jumping to Aiven for AI, I want to share the Aiven for Dragonfly QR code. So if you want to know more about Aiven for Dragonfly, check what is available in Aiven, check all the possibilities where you can deploy Aiven for Dragonfly and the rest of the portfolio of Aiven in all the major cloud providers. Just scan the QR code and you will find all the information in our dedicated page. So now the second part of the webinar, of this webinar, is about scaling, but as we spoke just now, it's about scaling by approaching different needs of your data and of your business. And we want to basically give you several examples of where Aiven fits in the AI landscape. Aiven is your trusted data and AI platform, which means that we can work with you not only on the data part, but also on the AI side of things. And what we can how Aiven can be used for is kind of an AI evolution, allowing you to jump into AI without having to onboard new tools, new processes, new backup procedures, with all the same skills and tools that you have been using for your operational workloads.
Francesco,
So
just to interrupt you quickly there. You've been out, I know you've been out talking to a lot of customers right now, but as we talk about some of the opportunities that we've observed of customers building new capabilities with their existing technology and data, what's your kind of feeling on how far other customers and people out in the market more broadly? GenAI has a lot of hype. How far along the journey are customers of actually getting their hands on AI and actually doing something useful with it?
So I believe there are two factors there. One factor is, yes, there is a lot of hype and everybody is willing to jump on board. But then there is the other factor, which is tools like OpenAI, ChatGPT, Gemini, I believe created the false illusion that everything is really, really simple, that you can just upload all your data to AI and boom, you have AI in your company. Well, I'm sorry to say, but that's not properly it. You need to have proper security, proper data management in order to feed AI with the right data at the right time. And the right data is not only, field A and field B, is about how much of field A can I expose. Is field B sensitive for the user? So I shouldn't use that. I cannot use that. And I believe nobody wants to write in the prompt of ChatGPT, please don't use field A because it's security sensitive, because that is going to be a suggestion rather than a must that the AI tool must need to follow. So I believe, again, all this boring, but all the old discussion about preparing data for use case A or B or C, we will see again and again in the future related to AI.
Brilliant. Yeah, and I think that's good context for those who are on the call or on the webinar now and thinking, hey, I'm not quite sure yet, I haven't started my journey, or I'm halfway through, or I'm looking at a few use cases. That context is super useful and kind of they can bring that with them through the rest of the slides.
Okay, so let me share now the Aiven for AI page. We will go through a lot of what is contained in the page, but we will give examples, real example of each of the pillars that where Aiven can be used for AI workloads. So let's start with what Aiven is. As I said, Aiven is your trusted data and AI platform. We have been known in the space of data. What can we do in the AI space? Well, there is a lot that you can do with Aiven for AI, and specifically because AI is nothing without the data, without the company data that you are storing and querying in your day-to-day life. That data is a need for AI. And we at Aiven can assist you in making it usable for AI. So the question that we are going to try to solve is, what can Aiven do for AI? And basically, we are dividing this into three main pillars. The first pillar is about providing what we were saying before. Everybody wants AI, but everybody is afraid of how can I provide data that AI needs. And in order to do that, we have within Aiven a solution, a set of tools that allow you to take the data from where it is to where it needs to be in the shape that needs to be for AI. The second pillar is AI optimized databases. Having a database in the cloud probably is not a news anymore. You can find databases in the cloud on a wide array of vendors. However, what we are releasing now is a database that doesn't only allow you to run queries, but it also tells you how to get the maximum performance out of those queries.
Yeah,
So giving, yep,
just to chip in there, to tie back to the scale narrative as well. When you're in the cloud, the great thing is you can scale. You can have 50, 100, 2,000 databases, which is brilliant. You can build things quickly. You can advance. You can meet customers' use cases. But you still need to make sure they're running well. We'll handle a lot of that. But when they slow down and the workloads against them slow down, your ability to scale your DBAs and your knowledge internally about those workloads and their performance won't ever keep up with your scale of ability to build. And that's why this AI optimization here really helps you do both.
Yep, exactly. So allowing you to scale by providing a little bit than just a normal database. And the last bit that we already touched on is the vector search. This ability to perform semantic search on top of the databases that we are already using for our day-to-day life. So let's try to dig into each of them. The first one is about trying to take the data from where it is to where it needs to be. And it's about enabling all the data sitting in various data silos to be used by AI. And we need a couple of things there. First of all, we need to identify all the data assets that we need to onboard. And the second part is we need to extract them and join them and create a shape of the data that is usable by AI. Is this meaning that we need to remove sensitive fields? We need to mask some other fields. We need to aggregate data up in order to mask the single customer behavior. Well, we have a tool to do that, which is Aiven for Apache Kafka, and also we can reshape the data with Aiven for Apache Flink. Those two tools don't only have the ability of connecting to a wide set of source system and feed AI wherever AI is, but they have also the benefit of doing this in real time. So it means that you're not providing suggestion on, for example, the user behavior of 10 minutes ago. You are providing suggestion based on the user behavior as of few milliseconds. You are providing context to AI about what the user is trying to do now, not like 5 minutes ago, and now he left the application or they left the application. So it's providing AI with data about now that they can use to influence the behavior while the customer is, for example, in the app. The second layer is about building performant databases, building scalable databases. As John said, with cloud, you can scale to 100, 1,000. But, despite the fact that probably for Aiven, this is good because a bigger scale means bigger potential money to your cloud provider, we want to help you to make the best decision for your business. And in order to help you make the best decision for your business, we want to help you maximizing the utilization of the resources that you have in-house. Why scaling to a higher service while the current service with few tricks could be optimized and run with the same capacity? This is why last November, Aiven acquired a company called EverSQL, which is a trusted solution since years on the SQL optimization space. And what we built together is a fully integrated database now available in Aiven for Postgres that allows you not only to use the Aiven for Postgres as a standard Postgres database, but also allows you to go to a page that is called AI Insights, receive or review the list of workloads that you have in the database, and with one-click optimize button, you can receive both index suggestions, but also SQL rewrite suggestions. Recommendation on how you should rewrite your SQL to make it more performant.
Yeah.
EverSQL. Yeah, go on, John.
So yeah, and just to add in there, the scale aspect. Anyone who's worked close to databases and DBAs over time, something can be working. 6 months later, it's not working so good. That's not due to anyone having done anything bad, but the data set's grown. The indexes you had previously might not now match the new queries you're running. The data footprint might be slightly larger. All these things are problems of scale and success. And so the AI optimizations and the recommendations we provide aim you to keep that database running as effectively as it can within the scale it's already at, and make sure that you can adapt to the changing scale of your company's workloads.
And the last bit is we want to build a trusted solution. And the EverSQL engine has been already adopted by more than 120,000 professionals, and they already optimize over 2 million queries. We are not talking about a solution which maybe is there, maybe is not. We are talking about a trusted, solid solution that allows you to optimize your workloads. And this is coming into Aiven and is called the Aiven AI Database Optimizer. It's built in, as of now, in Aiven for Postgres. It will come in more Aiven services in the future. And it gives you everything you need directly in the Aiven console. You don't need to subscribe to other solutions. It's everything built in Aiven. And if you check the QR code that is appearing now on screen, you will be able to go to the relevant page in order to check all the details about the Aiven AI Database Optimizer itself. So lastly, I believe the third pillar is what we were talking before, is doing more with the technologies that you have in place already. We talk about Dragonfly, but vector search and similarity search is available also in other data solutions from Aiven. So for example, in Aiven for Postgres, Aiven for ClickHouse, and Aiven for OpenSearch, also on Aiven for Dragonfly, all of them provide vector search capability. If you are all in the generative AI hype of the moment, and if you have heard about hallucinations, hallucination is when generative AI doesn't have enough information about a topic, so it starts inventing, starts dreaming about new stuff. You can reduce the hallucination problem by providing better context using Aiven for Postgres, ClickHouse, OpenSearch, and Dragonfly. And, vector databases is similar image to what John had earlier. This is the basic of AI. Every AI tool works with vector search, works with this array representation. And maybe, you have all these tools that you're already using. Probably you have Postgres for your operational workloads. You have OpenSearch to perform text search. But then you see the internet and you say, okay, I see that there are dedicated vector databases that could fulfill this kind of only vector search. Why should I use an old database to do the job? So let's review the journey when you have to perform a vector query. So the application usually makes this query that is run against a vector database. And then the result is used to basically do another query on the original database to pull all the source information about, for example, the specific user or product or information that you needed. However, this kind of three-layer setup or two-step setup, it's not optimal because you are adding an extra solution, so you will need to learn about the extra solution, need to learn about, for example, provide high availability, how to bake it up, how to restore, how to do user management, and all of that. But then you need also to populate this information. And doing that, it's kind of also a risky pattern because you are taking the data out from the original source, populating another technology with the same data, and probably you will have to redo, for example, security twice. So you're exposing yourself also to an additional risk of repeating or creating mistakes in the setting of this vector technology itself. Then what we were saying about real time, well, real time, it's doable, but it's hard. It's adding extra steps in your data journey. And while solutions like Kafka and Flink make it a little bit simpler, still it's few extra steps in the journey. And then, as I said before, you need to onboard this tool. It's not only about technological onboarding, but you need to onboard also the people using the tool. So the question that I have for you is, what if we could condense search, vector search, and standard search in a unique database? Well, if you do that, well, you don't have any data movement. You are not recreating your security layer again and again. You don't need to onboard new tools, understand how to perform maintenance, understand which is the person or the people dedicated to this new tool. And also, I would say, since you are not duplicating data, you achieve, for example, with Aiven for Postgres, huge consistency. So if you are looking, for example, I want to buy a pair of shoes that looks like this image, but is in stock in a shop less than 3 kilometers far from my house, if you run everything on Postgres, this gives you back a consistent result, which you don't have if you span your data across several technologies. So to summarize, what we saw is Aiven for AI is 3 main pillars. Real-time data for AI. We can take the data from where it is to where it needs to be and the shape that AI needs to have it on with streaming tools like Apache Kafka and Apache Flink. AI optimized database. We don't want to do just the boring cloud. We want you to be successful. So we take out of your plate the optimization bit. We enable you to shift left the optimization problem to your developers so they can receive fast feedback loops about their query and they can improve the application things directly in the development phase. We give to CloudOps people a way to speed up any solution to a performance problem, because now they have this panel of glass of all the workloads happening into a database with a one-click optimization that serves to them as a suggestion to understand what to do next. And then we have the vector search that allows them to basically perform not only the standard queries, but also the vector similarity queries within the same technology. So to conclude, I want to share again the Aiven for AI page, which is where you can find all this information. It's a page where we have also the IDC info brief, which is an info brief package analyzing the needs of companies in the AI era. And if you have any questions, I believe we will be here. If you have any questions, to type in the chat. If not, once we finish this webinar, you will have the option to book a meeting with one of our experts as well. All in all, I believe it has been a lot of interesting news from my side. So I would like to thank John for being the amazing co-host of this webinar.
Thank you, Francesco. And I apologize for my interruptions along the way. I just find some of this stuff quite exciting. And when I do, I like to get in there.
Well, absolutely. I believe, if you, from your knowledge point of view, anything you add is kind of diamonds. And finally, I want to thank everybody to listen in and everybody that will be listening in the future. If you have any queries, just reach out to Aiven and we will be super happy to reply to all your questions. Thank you very much and see you soon.
Great stuff.